Hello, everybody. Welcome to another manufacturer series of e-commerce manufacturing services. This is Curt's show. Really, I'm just filling in for Damon. But Curt, if you don't know, runs B2B Tail. He is bald and beautiful like me. Well, he's
I think Justin feels left out right now. Don't you think, Ira?
I want to hate on Justin because it looks like he's in shape. He's got all his hair. He's got a nice smile. He's got everything I don't have. He doesn't wear glasses.
He feels totally left out with us up here. So
his razor works. I mean, this guy's right. He's in OHIO. So
yeah. He is. So hey, I'm a Buckeye. So OHIO, Justin. So hey, guys, welcome. My name's Curt Anderson. I want to give a huge thank you first to my dear friend Ira Bowman. If you're not connected with Ira, if you're not, I don't know who on LinkedIn is not familiar with Ira Bowman. So please drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat box. Justin, I have yours. I'm going to drop it in 1 second. So for those of you that come to our program weekly, we had a little sad news. Our dear friend Damon, who's my co-host from Exit Your Way, his father passed on this past week. So our thoughts and prayers are with Damon. He's flying back home today. He's been gone for 3 weeks. So our thoughts are with Damon. But Ira is filling in. Ira is just absolutely amazing, incredible. Bowman Digital Media. So our guest today, Justin, I've been able to sleep all week, dude. I've been just so fired up for this. We're here to talk about key strategies that help manufacturers dominate SEO. We talk about that all the time. How do we dominate those search keywords for your manufacturing operation? So let me just tell you a little bit about my friend Justin Smith. So Justin, young man, again, jealous of the hair, but 19 years old, he decides, you know what? I'm leaving college and I'm going to start an internet marketing firm. And Justin, I want to find out how that went over with friends, family, whatever.
Sure.
Started OuterBox 2004 and has built it into 75 employees. I believe was up 40% last year. He has he was the coveted Inc. 500, no less. So Justin, welcome. Thank you for joining our program. So let's talk about 2004. What was that leap of faith going from college to starting this firm?
Yeah, just really, it was that time where I decided that I would rather make money than spend money at school. And honestly, digital marketing programs and website design programs. I was going to the Art Institute, and it was actually the first year they had those programs. And the teachers were asking me to help teach the classes because I knew more than they did. And in no joke, the teacher came to me and said, hey, if you want a degree, if you want a piece of paper, you can get one, but you're not going to learn anything in the next 4 years.
Right.
So, I decided to go for it. I think everybody in my family thought I was crazy dropping out of school, but the reality was I was 4 years ahead of where I would have been starting the company in 2008. And the amount of SEO companies and web development, e-commerce companies started in those 4 years would have put us way behind. So it definitely worked out getting into it when I did.
That is awesome. And just out of curiosity, friends, family, parents, when you come home and say, hey, I'm no longer going to college. I'm choosing entrepreneurship. How did that go over with the folks and family and stuff?
No, I mean, it went over fine. I didn't live at home. I lived on my own already and everything. So, when you're doing that, you can make your own decisions. But I've always been pretty driven. So I think everybody knew if I was going to do something, I'll figure it out.
That's awesome. So our program here, we target manufacturers. So, manufacturers, 30 employees, 50, 100, couple hundred employees. And and they're selling widgets, manufacturing great products. Here, you're providing a service and have just crushed it. I know a few folks on your team, Alicia, Daniel, big shout out to those guys for making this connection. Talk a little bit from an entrepreneur standpoint. When did you know that you've turned the corner? I really have a good solid business here. When did you kind of see you taking off the runway?
Yeah, honestly, it was interesting because we got into it at first when we started the company. We were really just website design, building e-commerce websites, and SEO came about because we realized I realized I needed to do SEO myself in order to get new projects. Mm-hmm. And then that kind of got the ball rolling. We ended up ranking #1 on Google when you search e-commerce website design. Probably back in 2006, 2007, we might be #1 or in the top 3 right now still.
right.
E-commerce website design, e-commerce website development, those type of keywords. And once we got those positions, leads started coming in. And I say we grew our business organically, and organically for us means it's a little different, organic search. So when we got in those positions, the ball just kind of kept rolling. We got leads coming in, people were calling us, and now that we've grown the company and we have these rankings, we get 200 to 300 calls a month for new projects now. No. I mean, those are people calling us. We don't do any outbound sales. Right. So it just shows the power of search engine optimization when you do it right and how it can totally transform your business. Like you said, we've hired 75 people and we'll be well over 100 pretty soon. Wow. And that's honestly all from doing SEO. I mean, it's 99% of our leads come from our own SEO efforts.
Right. Isn't that so? You're not talking to talk. You practice what you preach. You're taking these proven strategies. You've been doing it since, prior to the 2008 crash, and you've built this up. And just folks, a lot of great friends on the program. My friend Laura and Nancy, they're surviving the snow. Joyce, John, thank you for joining us. Gail, just talked to Gail today. My buddy Dave, Bonnie's on the call. Love you, Bonnie. Alicia's here. So guys, 2012, Justin hits that coveted Inc. 500. And so now, and last year, 40%, I read an article that you guys put out, 40% up. Do you feel that COVID was a big escalator for you, or like what was going on in 2020 for you?
Yeah, 2020, just like everybody, it felt like the world ended in March. And, we didn't get one lead for about a month, which, for us, we're usually getting 10 a day. So that was a little scary. I think everybody felt that weird pain one way or another for a month. But, after that, e-commerce businesses in general, which, we really focus on e-commerce, whether that's B2B, B2C, mm-hmm. They all realize that obviously e-commerce is the future. So, yeah, I mean, it didn't hurt us by any means. I think this year is probably going to be even bigger for us. Yep. We already felt like we were on that growth trend and trajectory, but this has accelerated things. And honestly, our the biggest challenge for growth right now is being able to hire people quick enough and get everybody up to speed.
Awesome. So, guys, I'm going to jump right into our program. So, Justin, I know you have some slides, some powerful examples that you want to show us. Again, I want to give a big shout out. Hello, Jeff, Jalen, everybody on the call today. If you guys are just jumping in, please drop your LinkedIn. Let's all connect. Let's network. We've got Ira Bowman here. I put Justin's LinkedIn profile in the chat box. Please, let's make this interactive. Please put questions. If you're a first timer here, when we're done with Justin, we hang out with us. We're going to go back to what's called tables, and we can have an opportunity to chat further. So, Justin, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, let's take a look at what you've got going on here.
Sure, let's do it.
And while he's doing that, he said 200 to 300 inbound leads coming without any sales efforts, bro. That's awesome. SEO, baby. That's what SEO is.
As manufacturers, think about that. Just think about just getting that consistent, constant lead flow. And that's what he does for OuterBox, and that's what he does for his clients.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's so many manufacturers, and I'll talk about this a little bit as we get going, that, they've really never stepped in the SEO space. And the trend that we're seeing as far as manufacturers are obviously trade shows are not happening. Right. So there's a lot of money and a lot of budgets that were traditionally used in other places that are being moved, and they're being moved around. And a lot of those are going towards search marketing and digital marketing. So it's becoming more and more competitive to rank for keywords that a lot of manufacturers were not worried about. And it never thought about. It's just they've been doing business for 100 years in a different way. So it's important now to get started on a campaign. It's a lot easier to get to the top and stay there than it is to let all your competitors get to the top and then decide you're going to try. So manufacturers are definitely going full speed into SEO right now.
Isn't it crazy? And you're seeing all sorts of opportunities. And the great thing with manufacturers, on the retail side, flowers, restaurants, food, flowers, shoes, all the everyday products are so competitive. you know, Justin, and I know what we're seeing with manufacturers is there's just great opportunities on keywords, niching down and focus on, you know, their specialties of what they do.
Yeah, you can get results a lot quicker. That's for sure, because it's not as competitive, and a lot of times the average sale is a lot higher. So
Right.
it's perfect. Okay, you can see my screen, correct? All right, perfect. All right, so let's talk about, is SEO for manufacturers really any different? You know, people always come to us and they say, well, isn't it different in our industry? How does Google, you know, figure out who should rank? And really, Google's algorithm is always the same. Google's algorithm isn't changing depending on if it's a B2C keyword or a B2B keyword. Google's algorithm is always the same. Now, the way it shows results may be a little bit different. When you're searching for shoes, like you said, Curt, you may get shopping results. You may get some different things there as far as the way that the results look. When you're searching local, you get the maps at the top and things like that. But really, Google's algorithm is the same whether you're B2B or B2C. Now, the nice thing about that is it means that you can learn from B2C businesses and B2C websites that may have a similar website format or product structure. So even though they may sell a product that's $10 and you may sell a product that's $1,000, or they may have an add to cart button and you may have a get a quote button, there's still a lot of things you can learn from other websites and other efforts. Really what we try to do at OuterBox, and it's one of the biggest reasons that people work with us, is that we're working on 150 plus SEO campaigns every month right now. And what we do is we take all of that data and we store it in a database. So when we're talking data, we're talking what tasks did we do, what pages did we build, what links did we build, and we actually store all of this in a database that we built. It's great because it allows us to do monthly reporting for our clients and show them everything that we did throughout the month. But it also allows us to then analyze all of that data and see what's working. So when someone comes on board with us, we can look at other clients that have been successful for the last 6 months, and we can say that they did this, 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 and this in these orders. Well, if we can do that and apply it to your business, you're going to have the same results. So what we're really trying to do is take the guessing out of it. And again, having 150 plus clients and being the size we are gives us a lot more data than most agencies have, especially when you get in the e-commerce and catalog space.
Right. And what you've done, you know, you have such a vast database and sampling of customers, clients, that it removes the guessing. Like you're not guessing, you're taking proven systems, proven processes, and really moving the needle quickly for your clients.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a huge thing. So typical challenges that we see in the B2B manufacturer space, it can be tough to find keywords that have search volume, right? Some clients have very niche products. They're manufacturing parts and all kind of things that it can be tough to find keyword volume. You need to beat out ThomasNet and other directories. Sometimes that can be challenging. They have a lot of domain authority and have been around for a long time. Not always easy to come up with blog posts and article topics. I know it's not always sexy to write about manufacturer type products, so that can be a challenge. We see a lot of manufacturers that don't even have an article section or a blog section because they say, you know, what the heck would we write about? We sell a screw, right? So that can be a challenge. Right. You may have a large product catalog with lots of products, but not much product details or product information, because sometimes clients have 50,000 or 100,000 SKUs. Mm-hmm. Clearly, you're not going to write extensive product descriptions about every screw size, you know, when you have thousands of them. A lot of websites are in this space we see powered by ERPs, again, because they're using that ERP to store all the product information, and they may use that same ERP system to power their website. Sometimes those aren't the best. And also it can be challenging to find link building opportunities. Again, if you're selling telescopes, there's a lot of astronomy blogs, right? If you're selling shoes, there's a lot of fashion blogs to work with and do guest posting on. When you're selling, tote washers, or you're selling plastic sheeting or whatever it is, there aren't too many blogs about those topics. So that can be challenging, and finding link opportunities can definitely be a challenge.
Absolutely. And so this is a great topic. And so many manufacturers, like we talk quite often on our program and with manufacturers, and Justin, hey, what do you do? I bend metal, I cut steel, I'm in CNC, I do injection molding, or I make circuit boards. It's something very broad, again, like shoes, flowers. And my dear friend, Laura, hello, Laura. We had a great conversation the other night. She's a great manufacturer up in Washington, Seattle area. And, we're talking about how do you like really niche down? So instead of like trying to capture CNC or I fabricate metal, like what are you encouraging your clients on, like trying to get like those, in our language, those long tail keywords, but how do you, that the manufacturer doesn't quite get that? How are you helping them walk through that process to find those great keywords?
Yeah. So let's talk about choosing keywords. So like you said, you can go after the big ones. You can go after CNC. This client, one of ours, they wanted to go after extruders and extruder machines and things like that. Yep. They rank number 1 for extruders, right? Nice. We got them from number 90 to number 1.
Nice.
So it's possible. There's no reason not to rank for big keywords. But at the same time, what you'll often see is that those niche keywords are going to convert better, because someone that knows they need to buy an extruder, they're typically going to search for a rubber extruder or for a pellet extruder or for, food extruder, whatever it is that makes sense for them because they know what they want. Right. So these big keywords, while they're great, don't get too wrapped up in them because they don't always convert as well anyways. So it's kind of working with your sales team and thinking, what would someone really search for? What would they really be looking for if they knew what they wanted and they were farther down that sales funnel?
That's exactly right. So again, what we really encourage manufacturers, I think, where are you in the supply chain? What are your core strengths and competencies? And, we always talk about like that entrepreneurial curse where we try to be everything to everybody. Manufacturers, like, hey, we'll do any CNC job or any fabricating, and then all of a sudden they get an RFQ. It's really not in their strike zone, and they're it's not a good fit. But if we targeted CNC for a certain part or a certain engine, or like Laura and I were talking about, like, turbine engines for, injection molding, but like taking it one step further can really, hit those golden nugget keywords.
Oh yeah. And the conversion rates are so much higher on that. Right. So, I'm like we're looking at here, don't lose sight of those small keywords. We have to talk clients into going after them quite often because they're just like, it's not, people aren't searching for it that much. One thing to look at is if you're using search volume tools, using Ahrefs, SEO Moz, whatever it is, SEMrush, a lot of times you'll see that there is no keyword volume. So it'll show 0 and say no one ever searches for this. I always say, take a step back from that and just sometimes try to think logically. If you're selling a certain product, people call you and they ask for that product and they say certain type of words, they're going to search for it as well. So even if a tool is showing 0 search volume, I think it's always beneficial to say, hey, let's build a landing page for it anyways, and let's see what happens. Often we'll see pages driving 50 to 100 visits a month on keywords that say there's no volume. So if you're getting 100 visits, it's probably searched 500 times and it's just showing no volume. So there can be big benefits to doing that, and don't lose sight of it just because it doesn't show that there's a ton of volume in it. Those pages are creating a lot of leads for our clients every month, and they can be really high dollar sales. Yeah. There's keywords that even if you get 5 visits a month, if you get a lead from it, even if you get a couple leads a quarter, that can pay off an entire campaign. So definitely don't lose sight of small keywords.
No, that's a great point. Ira and I, we were just talking the other day about, some pay-per-click strategies, and again, folks, when you're going after those longer tail keywords, and like my little goofy, simple example, Ira and I have teenage daughters. I would say, like, hey, instead of targeting shoes or even, all right, one step further, running shoes, what if, if you sell pink running shoes with purple shoelaces? very specific. So if I sell those, like Justin's saying, even if there's no search volume, that's the page that we want to have. That's a keyword we're going after. Now, if our teenage daughters want pink running shoes with purple shoelaces, that's a good match. Now, taking my simplistic example and we convert that to your pay-per-click strategy or your keyword strategy, I bend metal for gas engine, or, again, whatever your specialty is, you need one, like Justin's saying, one lead that turns into a 5-figure, a 6-figure RFQ. Was that worth it? Absolutely. On pay-per-click, you might only be bidding a quarter, 50 cents for that keyword, as opposed to if I bid on CNC and I'm bidding $20 for that keyword. So again, Justin, kudos to you. Great strategy here. And I love how you're defining, don't ignore, don't be defeated by the lack of search volume. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt to build landing pages, right? The worst thing that happens is you spend some time building and maybe spend some money with an agency if you're using an agency. But, it's not going to hurt anything, right? Maybe it doesn't get any visits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I always say, if you don't cast a net and you don't put it out there, there's no chance of catching anything. So
trends change too. Sometimes these small keywords can turn into big keywords, and you're at the leading edge of that. You could scoop a lot of fish. That's
for sure. So looking at industry pages, looking at application pages, all those kind of things. I know even with OuterBox, this is a good example I can use because I have the data. But I at one point said, hey, I wonder if people search for SEO services specifically for Google. So I looked at the keyword volume for the keyword Google SEO services or Google SEO service, and it said no one ever searched for it. And I was just like, I don't see how that's possible. So we built a page around Google SEO services, and I'm pretty sure if you go on Google right now and you search Google SEO service, I think we're number one, or maybe Google's number one and we're number two, but we're right up there, and we're getting 10 to 15 leads a month from that page.
Yeah,
and it showed zero search volume. So
I guess that's searched every minute of the day. It should be. I mean,
So you sometimes have to use common sense and not a keyword research tool.
Hey, and just real quick in the chat box. So just a couple of things. So again, my dear friend, my love of my life, Bonnie, talks about our purple laces. But Joyce says, I once searched for sparkly tennis shoes, found them, and bought them. So again, think about those niche keywords. We want to get away from CNC or I bend metal or, whatever it is, but take it a couple steps further. So Joyce, great example. Craig, is there a benefit to building landing pages on your main website URL or on a separate URL associated with a landing page builder?
Yeah, I would say definitely build it on your main website, because the problem is when you start using other domains, then you have to do link building for those domains. You have to build the domain authority. So really what you want to do is you want to create as much content as possible around your topics on your one site, and you want that site to become an authority on the subject. Some of the strategies we're going to talk about are how you become an authority, because once you are an authority, you can rank for everything. So keeping that all under one name and one domain is definitely going to be the most powerful.
Perfect. Real quick, I missed one here. John, I just met John yesterday. John, thanks for joining us. Great guy. I'd love to talk more. His comment, ThomasNet was a huge driver of referral traffic to my website when I was with my previous company. Have you had any experience with ThomasNet? I haven't gone deep with ThomasNet. Justin, have you?
Yeah, we've seen it work for some of our manufacturers for sure. I mean, they'll come to us and they'll say, hey, we've been on ThomasNet for 10 years. That's how we used to get all of our leads.
Yep.
I've seen that going down for sure. People may have had 100 leads a month from it, and now they're getting 30. So that's definitely been going down. I feel like ThomasNet used to rank for absolutely everything.
Yep.
And now people are beating them out, and manufacturers are spending time and energy in becoming an authority on a topic, and Google's rewarding them with that and ranking them above ThomasNet. So their rankings are falling down. But 10 years ago, when manufacturers didn't even have websites half the time, ThomasNet was everything. It was like the Yellow Pages.
Exactly. And I think my dear friend Nancy from Seattle is on, or Washington State is on the call. She's a wire harness manufacturer. And Justin, you made a great point about, creating that content. And, in manufacturing, it's not the most sexy or most exciting, but you know what? if there's an engineer at Boeing or there's an engineer at Halliburton or whatever, we talk about, your ideal customer, I call them those soulmates, and your soulmates out there has a problem today and they're doing a Google search and it's something that they don't know or don't understand, but you're an expert at, and you've typed up this little blog piece. Boy, that article could be the sexiest thing I've ever seen because you've helped me solve a problem. As manufacturers, we're not just we're not making great products, we're solving great problems. So again, encourage all of you, think about that content. Bonnie crushes it all the time with her video content. Wrote another quick question. Dave in Buffalo asked, would we change meta tags for each new keyword on a landing page?
So your meta tags, you want to change your title tag, of course, your meta description, your meta keywords tag. Your meta description really will not impact SEO, but it'll impact your click-through rate. So that meta description, when you search on Google, you see your title, and then below you see the description. That's your meta description. So that can help you get more clicks by making that enticing. So it is beneficial to have a unique meta description for every page. Meta keywords at this point, you don't even need them. You could just get rid of that and totally not even have a meta keywords tag.
Perfect. Excellent tip. And lastly, Gail says, this is the best explanation I've heard of SEO, especially for manufacturing. So great job, Justin. Gail and I just met today, had a great call. So thank you for joining us, Gail. So Justin, go ahead. I don't want to distract from, let's talk about this slide here.
Yeah. So article topics. Again, the whole goal here is to be an expert in your industry and to show Google that you're an expert. If you can be the expert and you can have the authority in Google's mind, then you can rank for everything that you want to rank for. It's why we rank for tons of SEO keywords, tons of e-commerce keywords, because we're always putting out good content and we're the authority on the topic. So one way to do this, because it's not as easy for manufacturers, is what questions do clients typically ask your sales team, potential clients?
Yes.
I even use this because we're running out of topic ideas sometimes. And I go to my sales team and I say, hey, what questions are people asking? What questions are they asking when you review a proposal with them? And you can get a lot of really good questions out of that. People ask, hey, how do I set up my shipping? Or how does this work? Or, how are we calculating tax during checkout for different locations across the country? Use those questions that your sales team's getting asked and go write articles. Like you just said, you have someone at Boeing, they search a certain question, and you have the answer. That's very valuable content and often leads to them feeling like you're the expert and wanting to contact you and work with you.
Absolutely. Ira and our dear friend who's a friend of the show, Greg Mishu, always talks about the know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. And by just putting that article out there, they've already potentially liked you. They're already starting to trust you. Right, Ira?
Yeah. And one tip for everybody. I just did it last night. If you want to see an example, I wrote a post. It was 5 components or 5 ingredients that all marketing campaigns should include to be successful. Then I made a blog about it because, the post, you can only do so much. So I expanded it and I'm like, this will make a great video because sometimes people don't want to read that much. Mm-hmm. So you can capture everybody and build your keyword authority and rank if you just keep that formula in mind. So posting, blogging, and videos, and then if you want to really cheat, make sure that your backlinks are in your description of your video, and then go in and insert the link to the video inside the blog so they can read the blog and watch the video. You know what I mean? Those tools can help you so much with your SEO.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great example. I totally agree. Creating product guides, buying guides, how it works, all those kind of things. And the one I have below it, pricing and cost articles. People don't think about this often, but every product in the world or every service, people wonder how much it costs. They'll search, how much does this machine cost? How much does a extruder cost? People search, for one of our best pages, honestly, on our site, if you search SEO pricing on Google, I think we might rank #1 for that. Right. And just like you said, if you go to that, we have a video in there. It's a couple-minute video with me talking about, when you're getting quotes for SEO services, what to think about, why some people charge $200 a month and other people charge $10,000. What's the difference? So those pricing and cost articles can be great. And often you're getting people that are really in the mindset of buying. You know, they're like, hey, I got tasked to buy this service, or I need to buy this product, and I just wonder how much it costs as I'm looking at companies here. So those can be some really high converting articles.
Not all SEO is the same, guys, right? So the $200 service is not going to be the same as a $10,000 service. At least I hope not.
Yeah. Well, you would think anyway. And Justin, another comment from our dear friend Bonnie. So Bonnie's in Manhattan, and she's a manufacturer, women business owned. She's dynamic. She's crushing it on TikTok. Millions and millions of views on TikTok. She's the video queen on LinkedIn. Please connect with Bonnie. Her question or comment: what's your best advice for a company creating a new category in their space? Her company is called Go Lids, and she's come up with this incredible solution. You go to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donut, any fast food, you walk out, you have your soda, you have your drink, your coffee. She's created a recycled plastic piece that goes on top, and you can put your sandwich, fries, hot dog, if you're at a ball game, whatever. That's her cool cutting edge product. So again, her question: what's your best advice for a company creating a new category in their space?
So I assume it's asking because there's probably not much search volume around that yet.
Great. And Ira and I've been dealing with this. So if, if you're not selling a commodity, a can of Coke, a can of, running shoes, like we've talked about. So it's a new product category, like Bonnie or some manufacturers are getting into a new product. If I'm found the question correctly, how do you create that new category? What would your advice be?
Yeah, I mean, I would, even though you feel like there might not be much volume around that yet, I would create it, and I would think, try to think in the future, what will people search for? They might not be searching for it yet, but as it becomes popular, what will they search for? And it's always beneficial to be out there first, because years from now, someone might try to knock that off. There may be other people searching for it. Right. And, having that up and ready now, being ahead of it means you'll be the first one there and will probably stay at the top. So it's always beneficial.
Right. And I think the great thing is, again, as marketers for manufacturers, a common thing is, it's so overwhelming or intimidating. I'm a manufacturer. I've been making a widget for 30 years. Now this whole new internet digital thing is kind of throwing me off. And it's really like, how do you talk in person? How would you talk at a trade show? How would you talk on a sales call? Bring that to your SEO strategy, bring that to your content creation, bring that with your videos. Let's simplify it, not make it more complicated than what it needs to be.
Yeah. And when we're creating categories, you want to make sure you have content on a category page, not just products, because again, what Google's looking for is you delivering great content. And they want to see that not only are you trying to sell, but you're trying to inform. So if you can have your products and then you can have a good few paragraphs of content below those products on that category page, and then you can link out to articles from that category page, to buying guides, to different things, that makes that category page a lot more powerful than just a page that had 10 products on it.
Absolutely. And I want to be respectful of your presentation, so I don't want to hold you up, but good question. So you've got search intent.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about search intent on as far as strategy for your clients?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is this. Often we'll see someone and they'll come to us and say, hey, we've been doing SEO for 2 years with somebody or ourselves, whatever it is, and we're not getting results yet. And, I'll say, what keyword are you trying to rank for? Well, we're trying to rank for X keyword. And, what page? Well, we're trying to get this page to rank for it. Well, if you're trying to get a product page to rank for a keyword, for example, the first thing to do is go to Google, search that keyword, and see what comes up. Because often what you'll see is if someone searches, again, just using your shoes topic, if someone searches running shoes, well, you're not going to have a product page that ranks for that. You're going to have category pages that rank for that. Because what Google is assuming is if someone searches that keyword, they want to see a page that shows 20 different options or 100 different options. So it's really important to think about the keywords you want to rank for, search for those on Google, and see what types of pages are coming up. That will help you to then determine, should you build a product page to rank for that keyword? Should you build a category? Should you build an article? Because depending on what Google feels like the intent of the searcher is, and what information they want to find, you have to be able to provide that type of information.
Perfect. Great answer. And again, I don't want to, man, we could talk all day, dude. Justin, I had high expectations. You've completely crushed it. But my dear friend, Nancy, I think she shared with me, she's getting hit with a snowstorm. I live in snow country. So Nancy, I feel you. We've been hesitant to post pricing online because we fear it will help our competitors when we're and competing for business. What's your experience? Any thoughts there, Justin?
Yeah, I can understand that. Again, sometimes maybe you can post price ranges. We do a little bit of that. I understand, because same thing for our services. I don't really want our competitors knowing exactly what we charge for our SEO services. And I don't want people, just like you may not, I don't want people to see a price and leave because they think the price is too high before you've been able to talk to them about the benefits and why the price is what it is. It's that old saying, whoever talks price first loses. So sometimes it's better to just try to get a conversation going. You can explain the benefits of your services, your products, and then the price makes more sense when you've had the ability to do that. So I understand from that perspective. Also, I guess I've always felt like these days, every competitor probably knows what you already charge. They've probably seen your proposal. They've probably called in and acted like a customer if they really want to know your pricing that bad. So I can tell you this much. I've seen lots of proposals for companies floating around on the internet with all their pricing in them. So
I did business to business sales for 20 years. I ran sales teams both as a sales manager and a district sales manager. I can tell you that your competitors, if they are interested, they'll know your pricing, because most clients are going to get 3 quotes. And then a lot of people will say, oh, I got a cheaper price. Well, let me see it so I can make sure it's apples to apples and all that stuff. So, your pricing is not as big a mystery as you might think it is. I think what Justin said is brilliant. That, in full disclosure, I published my pricing. In fact, I put it in the comments if you guys want to look, because I'm on the other side of this coin. Like, I'd rather somebody know up front and not book my time for a consultation when they've got like $5 and it's going to be a $5,000 project. You know what I mean? So there's different ways to think of it. But what you said about the value, it's not the price, it's the value, because that's ultimately what this is. Value propositions and pricing are not the same thing. Go back to what we said about the $200 SEO service versus the $10,000 SEO service. There's a huge difference. At least there should be. You know, be charging $10,000 for $200 worth of work. So, like, go back to what you said in the beginning of this whole presentation. You're getting 200 to 300 inbound leads a month from your SEO work. And what is that worth when someone wants to nickel and dime you now about, oh, it's $500 a month or it's $5,000 a month? But how many deals are you going to actually book from those 200 to 300? You know what I mean? It's going to pay for itself in spades. So that's the kind of stuff where not showing the price. Excuse me for hitting the microphone. But,
I always say with SEO, it should be your favorite check to write every month.
more than costing too.
Yeah, it's super powerful. And, we've had plenty of clients that we have meetings and they say, we ask them what's their budget. They say, our budget's about $2,000 a month. That's an arbitrary number that they're coming up with because they feel like, I don't know, that's what people should spend on it, right? Maybe they read an article. That doesn't mean they don't have 10,000. They just, you have to explain why it's worth it. And it's the same thing with our services or your services and your products. If you have a $100,000 product, well, you have to explain why it's worth $100,000 and the value it can bring them. If it can make their processes quicker, if it can help them to have less people that need to run whatever they're trying to run, then if you can justify it, it's an easy sell.
Yeah. And I think for Nancy, phenomenal question. I don't know as if there is a true right or wrong answer. When I first connected with Ira, that's what I loved about Ira. I knew exactly where he's at, and it's we've been great partners. I talked to a lot of clients. I think what's critical is we can focus and keep things, to the vest. What's most important for the customer? How can we make it as easy as possible? If putting our price out there for the customer makes their life easier, let's do it. if it prevents them from, maybe they see the price and they're going to engage with you quickly, that's great. Maybe if they see the price and they leave, you might have done yourself a favor because now you didn't waste a phone call, like Ira said, of like, hey, we're not a good fit anyway. So anyway, Justin, I apologize, man, this is so good. Where are we at with the program? I feel like I'm
all right. Let's keep going here. So
yep.
We'll get moving a little. So optimizing the product catalog. This we often see manufacturers that may have lots of products or SKUs, even down to little bolts and sizes, and we have a 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch and all these things. And a lot of times they'll just have more of a category page that just lists these things out, but they don't actually have product pages for them. Building product pages can be super powerful. If you have 100,000 products, even if you get 1 visit per month on each product page on average, that's a lot of visits. So I definitely recommend trying to build out product pages and product detail pages if you can. You can optimize those for part numbers and SKU numbers where it makes sense. Again, thinking about how your customers look for your products. Are they looking for specific SKUs? I had a link in here to a case study that we did for a company that sold FANUC parts. And, we helped them to increase their online revenue by almost 600% and organic search traffic by 250% really quick by helping them get their 75,000 products and SKUs online, getting product pages for that. And also what we figured out is when a part breaks, people go, they look at that part, they look at the serial number on it, and they go to Google and search it. So if you can optimize for SKUs or product numbers and that makes sense for your business, definitely try to take advantage of it. And again, those are super high converting keywords, right? It's exactly what someone's looking for. They get it right to the product page. So it's perfect from a user experience perspective. All right, so website platform challenges. I'm not going to hit on this too long, but consider the fact that working with an ERP e-commerce platform or having your website powered by an ERP platform can definitely make it challenging to do SEO. It may make sense to export data from an ERP or from a CRM and integrate that with a website that you build custom. Or build it on a more SEO friendly platform than it is trying to fumble around one of these platforms. That's just something to consider, is that a lot of manufacturers get stuck on some of these platforms and stuck on running their website off of them, and it's really holding them back. They make the change, we help them get a new website, get SEO going, and their traffic explodes. So it's definitely a challenge in this industry. All right, let's talk link building for a minute. Again, finding niche links can be tough. Not a ton of people, not a ton of blogs and articles and news outlets to go around when you're a manufacturer. So looking at specific industry organizations and groups that you're part of, asking them to link to you. Joining some of those, getting links those ways can be really beneficial. And again, just asking, if you're part of an organization, asking, hey, can we get a link? Often they'll give you one. Press releases can be a really great way to build links, especially when you're building new categories, you're building landing pages like we talked about, we're building articles like we talked about. If we're doing those things, now we need to get links into those so that they'll get indexed, they'll rank higher. And so one of the easiest ways is to do a press release once a quarter. In a press release, you can typically put anywhere from 5 to 7 links, depending on who you're using. Typically, we use Newswire. Press release is going to usually run you about $400 to send it out, but getting 5 to 7 links in is a great way to boost those new pages. I've seen the difference be a new page launches, you do a press release, it might rank in the top 5 in Google within a month. If you don't do a press release, it might be buried on page 5. So getting those links in, especially when you're not going after super competitive keywords, can be the total difference, and a press release can do it for you. Other thing to look for would be guest blogging, guest posting on other websites. If you can find relevant blogs in news outlets, just reaching out to them and saying, hey, can we write a piece of content? Typically, when you do that, you're supplying them with good content. They'll supply you with being able to link back to your site somewhere within that. When you put that link in there, you want to make sure you send that link from keywords within your article. So that's the anchor text. If you have keyword XYZ, link from that within your copy over to the landing page that should be ranking for that keyword. And then reviewing competitors' backlink profiles. There's a lot of tools that you can use to look at where your competitors getting links, who's linking to them, and then looking at those and going to those opportunities, going to those websites and saying, hey, we see you linked to this person. How can we get a link as well? You want to add anything into the link building conversation?
No. And again, we could talk all day. We could go on on each slide. And again, because I want to be respectful because we do need to wrap up soon.
Sure.
Super fast question. Duplicate content, Justin. Yeah. We had a nice discussion up in Seattle the other day with a group of manufacturers, and the duplicate content conversation came up. What's your team's perspective on duplicate content?
Yeah, so I wouldn't post the same content in two places. So if you're doing guest blogging, if you have a page on your website, don't send them that content. You do have to write unique content when you do guest blogging. It's pain, I know. You feel like you're writing content to put on someone else's site, but to get that link, it's worth it. It does take some time. It doesn't always have to be the highest quality post ever because it's going on someone else's site, not on your own, but it's still got your name on it, so it's got to be pretty good. Yep. But so you don't want to mess with duplicate content. Now, if it's on your own website and it's little pieces and parts, that doesn't necessarily hurt you, but you don't want to be sending the same content to multiple domains.
Okay, quick question came from our dear friend Gail and Ira. Gail, you've got to connect with Gail. She's absolutely hysterical, but she asks, not sure if I understand the links in the news release. So can you just explain what that is real quick?
Yeah, sure. So basically, when you're doing a press release, it's going to allow you to put links in there. So I can pull up an example real quick. Let's just search OuterBox press release. Okay, so this is a press release that we did. This was December 28th, 2020. And so you can see within this press release, there's links out to pages on our website. So, B2B e-commerce, if you click that, it's going to go over to our B2B e-commerce page. Yeah. So putting links within these to your landing pages from the important keywords is really going to help those pages to rank better.
Perfect. Yep. Great explanation. And then I missed a question from our friend Craig. Some of your favorite tools to research competitors' backlinking profiles?
I would use Ahrefs, or you could use SEMrush. I would say those two are probably the best ones.
Perfect. Excellent tips. So SEMrush. Justin, we do need to kind of wind it down.
Yeah, we're good.
What would you like to, any last things on you had a great presentation. I know you had a few other slides here to go, right?
No, this is about it.
That's what I was longing for. My daughter's a redhead. I think Ira, you have a redhead. I saw this picture and Justin sent a presentation over. I love it. So
yeah, no, I mean, I know I'm throwing a lot of information out. We all are. So you might not be getting all of it, but if you need help and you have questions afterwards, here's my contact information. We're happy to help. We're happy to do an SEO checklist just to look at 26 things that we feel like are really working to see if you're utilizing those things and are you doing them correctly now. We're happy to do a proposal, a blueprint, and really look at what we could do for you and just areas of opportunity for what you're trying to accomplish. So if we can help in any way, reach out.
And what I love, and you also offer a paid search audit.
Yeah, we have a whole paid search department as well. It really can be beneficial to have your SEO and organic campaign working hand in hand with your paid search campaign. So we have both teams here at OuterBox.
Awesome. So again, I've dropped Justin's LinkedIn profile a couple times in the chat box. Please connect with Justin. He's in the great state of Ohio. OuterBox. Here's his email, phone number. Justin, I think, do you have a couple more slides after this?
No, they were really just talking about what's in the SEO checklist. So our SEO checklist is just to help kind of figure out where you're at now. Understand why you're actually there. Some people don't understand why they're where they're at. And understand what needs to be done to be successful and capture the low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of easy opportunities that people don't know about that, sometimes I joke with people, but I'm kind of serious that I could make your website rank a heck of a lot better in 10 minutes. There's just basic things sometimes you're missing. So this checklist can really help with that. And then again, the paid search audit, basically a lot of the same things, looking at 77 best practices, and are you using those best practices? And if you're not, we have lots of opportunities, to decrease cost per conversion on the paid search side.
Awesome. God, this was Ira. This was so good, man. Justin, thank you. This was just absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank Daniel from your team. Was how we first connected last summer. As a matter of fact, I was out in my patio and we were on a Zoom call together. And so now I'm inside because I think Justin, we're probably both in snow.
Oh, yeah.
But this was great. So guys, again, thank you everyone for taking time to join us today. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Once again, we're sending our thoughts and prayers to Damon for loss at his family. Ira, I can't thank you enough, brother. My brother from another mother. Again, everybody, please connect with Ira for being a step-in guest host. And Justin, Inc. 500, founded your company at 19 years old, 75, growing to 100. Is there a ceiling for Justin Smith, or what's that? What or no?
We'll see. We got a long way to go. We're just getting started.
Just getting started. So, dude, thank you for your time. Everybody, please reach out to OuterBox. Reach out to Justin. Thank you guys for joining us. Justin, thank you. Please stick around. We're going to go to the tables. You want to talk to Justin one-on-one, talk to Ira, myself. We're going to leave here, go to the tables, and we'll see you over there. Justin, thank you, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.